there. Let's talk about the facts they threw in there. So what's some of the facts they just put in there? All right. Some of the facts they just put in there with the fact that the Akashic Records is a compendium. So a compendium, I wouldn't use a compendium to describe the Akashic Records. But let's say this. The Akashic Records is basically a holographic library. Okay? So in this library, that's why they said compendium, because a compendium is like another word like for collection. All right? So they stated on Wikipedia that the Akashic Records exist on the mental plane. That's another lie. The Akashic Records do not exist on the mental plane. All right? The Akashic Records exist within us. All right? So you do have different planes of existence. All right? These are interdimensional planes. So the mental plane is a plane of existence. A lot of people are not aware of this, but your thoughts actually go to a world. And in that world is nothing but just different thoughts floating around. All right? That's called the mental plane. This is why you can't listen to every thought that comes into your head, because every thought that comes into your head is not your thought. These come from the mental plane. Okay? Now, the mental plane is an interdimensional plane that exists only here on Earth because, once again, you don't use your mind. You don't use what's called the mind on any other planet, in any other reality, in any other existence other than Earth. Okay? I'll repeat that. The mental plane only exists down here on what's called Earth. In other forms of existence, all intelligent life has no reason to have a brain or a mind, okay? Because throughout the multiverse, in the cosmos, we communicate using telepathy, right? And we don't have a brain that holds what's supposed to be our intelligence. We are intelligence. You see this big energy ball sitting behind me in the meditative state? We are nothing but a huge ball of infinite intelligence, all right? That's what we are without the physical form. So in reality, we don't have a brain. But when you come down to the physical form, all right, they tell you that you have something called a brain. And this brain is responsible for how your body functions. This brain is responsible for your thoughts and things of that nature. No, what happens is your brain has a lot of functions that are cosmic related. Your thalamus gland, your pineal gland, your neocortex, all of these are very important glands that are inside of what is called the brain. And none of these glands have anything to do with the mental plane. Okay? So the mental plane is strictly set up to hold thoughts. All right? Hold not just my thoughts, but your thoughts. So all thoughts that ever be thought about, whether they were actually acted out or not, they go out and they travel amongst us. So when we thinking all day, we're sending out thoughts. Thoughts is vibration. Thoughts is energy, and it's just traveling around us. Now, this energy goes inside of other people, and it comes to them as thoughts. And then it might lead them and go to somebody else's thought. And it'll travel, a thought might travel through 1 trillion different minds in one day. But after traveling and traveling and traveling, if the thought doesn't find anywhere to stick, right, where does it go? It goes to the mental plane. Okay? So you have all these thoughts, which you can't even number, sitting on the mental plane. Now, all these thoughts come from beings that exist, not just now in the physical, but any being, every being that ever exists in the physical, their thoughts are on the mental plane. All right? That's the mental plane. That's the mental plane. But that is not the Akashic Records. Okay? That is not the Akashic Records. Okay? That is strictly and simply what it is. The mental plane. Okay? So when they saying Theosophists believe that the Akashic Records are encoded in a non-physical plane of existence known as the mental plane. So they were right, all right, when scientists, if y'all want to know, y'all had it right when y'all said that the Akashic Records are full of encoded energies that exist in a non-physical plane, because the Akashic Records is not on a physical plane. However, the plane that the Akashic Records exist in is not the mental plane either. And see, because scientists are limited, y'all, remember, they are limited. They just fucking got here, so they don't know what the fuck they talking about. And whatever they can't understand, they'll just lie about it. You see what I'm saying? They'll just lie about it. You know what I'm saying? Long as it end up with them looking like the big dogs. They gonna lie about that all day. Okay? So, what is the Akashic Records then? Once again, the Akashic Records is a holographic library. Okay? And within this holographic library, all right, exists every memory, every thought, all energy that was ever sent out. So, but it's not just the future, past, and the present, because when you say the future, past, and the present, that's time, and time isn't real. So that wouldn't be a good word to describe what the Akashic Records are. Once again, the Akashic Records is a holographic library full of spiritual, esoteric, and astral information. All right? And it holds the secrets to the entire multiverse lie within the Akashic Records. Because the Akashic Record is a hall. It's like a library. So you could go to different parts. Like, okay, so you can go to different sections of the Akashic Records to access certain records and certain information about time periods that existed. So far as for you and I, when we come into this physical realm, anything we do, if we speak it, think it, or act it out, it leaves a replication, okay, of what you did. So say I say, fuck you, you dumb bitch. That stays, even though I said it and I don't think it went nowhere, it actually goes to the Akashic Records. And what is weighed in is the intent behind what I said. So if I said something with negative intent, it is listed in the Akashic Records as negative energy sent out. If I say something with positive intent, it is listed on the Akashic Records as positive energy sent out. Whether I act it, whether I say it, or whether I think it, it will go to the Akashic Records. It is a holographic library, and it holds all energies you've ever sent out. But the thing is this. So are you saying, Rashad, Jamal, that everything I've ever did in the physical realm exists on the Akashic Records? Yes. Anything you've ever did, it exists. It went directly to the Akashic Records. So if you did it, I can go to Akashic Records and find what you did and watch it back like I would watch a movie. Okay? If you did something, if you just thought about it, I could go to the Akashic Records. I could walk into the Akashic Records. And when I walk into this holographic library, I can access everything you've ever did while on this physical realm. Everything you've ever thought about, everything you've ever said, and every action you've ever did exists on the Akashic Records. So what that means is when we say stuff and do stuff, the universe, it makes a replication of that moment and that event, and it sends it to the Akashic Records. The Akashic Records is this library. You walk in the library, and you can access every thought, every action, and every intent ever sent out. Now, it gets deeper than that, okay? It get way deeper than that. Every single soul on the planet has their own Akashic Records, though. You got 3 different... Put it like this. I'm not going to say every soul has their own Akashic Records, but everybody has their own folder within the Akashic Records. Okay? That's better. There's only one Akashic Records. Okay? But every soul has their own folder in the Akashic Records. So how does this work? Basically what happens is, okay, so when you come to this planet, Planet Kai has her own Akashic Records with her own folder. Mars has her own Akashic Records with her own folder. Mercury has his own Akashic Records with his own folder. Venus has her own Akashic Records with her own folder. Jupiter has his own Akashic Records with his own folder, and with his own folder, and on and on and on. If I want to learn everything there is to learn about this planet, the best way to do that is to tap into the Akashic Records. I can study everything about the planet, everything she's ever been through, everything she's ever felt, did, thought, every experience that took place on this planet, I can watch it in the Akashic Records. All right? Now, remember I said that we also got our own folder. So, okay, I can access any planet's Akashic records. And by tapping into the planet, the Akashic records of the planet, I know all there is to know about that planet. So let me give you an example. Remember when, go watch X-Men. Remember when Apocalypse first came back to Earth? He didn't know nothing, right? What he had to do? He had to cut the TV on. And when he cut the TV on, what'd he do? He put his hand against the TV. And through the TV is connected to what? What does the TV get its electricity from? Its signal from? The telephone poles. And what are the telephone poles connected to? Where do they get their power from? We get all our GPS and power from the telephone poles, from the motherfucking telephone poles. These bitches lying. Ain't no satellites. So, if you get all your reception for your TV from the telephone poles, then where does the telephone pole get all its power from to give you a signal for your cell phone? Well, the telephone pole gets all its power from the ground and the roots from the original trees that's still stuck underneath the ground. That's still stuck in the soil. Okay, so this is why Apocalypse on X-Men, he touched the TV. When he touched the TV, he was able to access the Akashic records of the planet. And he started seeing everything that took place. He's seen all the wars, all the bloodshed, everything. But I'm explaining to you what he was doing in X-Men and how he was able to see everything. He put his hand against the TV. That's why he was like, no more wars, no more weapons, no more spears. Like, he had seen what had been going on. It wasn't like that when he went to sleep. No, don't forget, Apocalypse represents us, the originals, the aboriginal beings of the planet, the original Asiatics, the indigenous gods of the planet and of the cosmos. That's who Apocalypse represented in X-Men. So when he came to life, back to life, that represents us rising again, coming back to life. Because we've been zombies, we've been asleep. So now we're coming back to life. So each planet has its own Akashic records that you can tap into. Okay? When I'm sitting here giving y'all certain information about the planet, what you think I do? I tap into the Akashic records. When I reveal to you all the information about the pyramids in the Bermuda Triangle and our ancestor ocean, I tapped into the Akashic records, all right, of the planet. That's why scientists came right behind me and said, oh, scientists have just discovered that it is a pyramid, because they listen to these lectures and then they doing research and they actually in the ocean fucking with shit. And they like, oh, hold on. What he said in this lecture is true. Now, we're not going to give him no credit as we're going to call him and write him off as a crazy, violent occultist and a YouTuber. But they go look up what I'm saying and they know this shit is a fact. Right? Many of you hit me up. How do you know this? How do you know that? Well, I know it because I'm tapping into self. I'm channeling. But where am I channeling from? I'm channeling not just from the ancestors and from cosmic elders, but I'm also tapping into the actual Akashic records of this planet to help you remember certain things that took place. All right. Well, not just this planet has an Akashic file. Every planet has an Akashic file. Every universe, every multiverse. So if you tapped into the Akashic file of that universe, you know all there is to know about that universe. You get what I'm saying? That's how that works. You learn all there is to learn about that universe, about that multiverse, about that planet just by tapping into the Akashic records of it. Now, it gets deeper. You have your own. Remember, you didn't just live on this planet. So if you access the Akashic records of planet Kai, that's a lot of information, but that's just for this planet. You as a whole, as a soul and a spirit that's been traveling from lifetime to lifetime, multidimensional being, luminous being, traveling, experiencing, the creator of creators. You have tons and tons of experiences and lifetimes. You lived in many different realities, many different dimensions, many different planets, right? You've existed in many different multiverses. You are multidimensional. So you have that information in you too. That's all a part of your Akashic file. All the lifetimes you've traveled, that's on your Akashic file. Not just the planet. When you tap into the Akashic file of planet Kai, that's just one file. Each planet has their own file. Each universe has their own. And it's how many planets? How many galaxies? How many universes? How many multiverses? Exactly. But you also have your own Akashic record. You have your own. And see, and when you access the Akashic records within you, this is how you remember your past lives. You remember your past lives by accessing the Akashic records. But the biggest file for the Akashic records is back home in Xylanthia. Because our home headquarter planet where we come from, Sirius X, has the main Akashic records. So that means back home, they have access to the Akashic records from every single thing in the entire multiverse. Whereas if you come to this planet, you might only be able to access the Akashic records of this planet that you're on. Back home, they can access the Akashic records of every planet, every being, every entity, every spirit, every soul, every angelic being, every extraterrestrial race has Akashic records. You get what I'm saying? We have so much cosmic history out there that it's just been hidden from us. This is why they fear the Akashic records. They fear you accessing the Akashic records. It's a dangerous thing. Here, baby, smoke. It's a dangerous thing. What you doing?
Oh, doing my tree.
It's a dangerous thing. Remember how I just told you the planet has her own Akashic records? You have your own Akashic records. Your mama has hers. The universe, different universes have theirs. Insects have their own Akashic records because they are insects in this life, but in the last lifetime, they were something else. They are insects on this planet, but on another planet, they are royalty. We animate different lifetimes. So if you come here and you live life as an ant, which many of you have before, you just don't remember it, that counts as an experience. That's a part of your Akashic folder. That goes on your Akashic folder. Because when you was that ant, you had feelings, right? You had emotions. Well, not emotions, but you had thoughts. All right? You had a job. You had a soul contract to fulfill. All right? Then you might have came back here as a squirrel before. In that soul contract, your soul contract was to gather as many nuts as you could so that your family doesn't freeze to death in the winter when the weather machines come on. And you know that was your soul contract. And if you fulfilled that, then after you gathered enough nuts, you know, you might have left the next season by falling out the tree or something. Now you on to the next lifetime. This is how lifetimes work. You have soul contracts in every experience. But then you also have wars you have fought. All that is on the Akashic records. You have allies you gained while experiencing these many different lifetimes. That's on the Akashic records. You created things. You've encoded things. You've programmed whole societies, universes. You've manipulated energy, programmed things. All that's on the Akashic records. Our true divine history is a part of the Akashic records. All the way down to how we created these very bodies. Because guess what? You can see that if you walk into that library called the Akashic records. Now, why don't they teach you about the Akashic records in school? Well, first off, only a certain group of us can access the Akashic records. This group of us that can access the Akashic records are known as black people today. All this neuromelanin, our connection to the sun, nature itself, that allows us, and because we have DEA, that allows us. That is the secret key to get into the Akashic records. The Akashic records, so how does it look? It's a holographic world. So when you think about a hologram, if I was a holographic image, that means I'll be sitting right here looking like it's me, but then somebody can come walk right through me because it's just an image of me. So nothing in the Akashic records is solid. We describing it now. Nothing is solid or physical. It look physical, but you can put your hand right through it. So when you see a book in the Akashic, if you enter the Akashic records, you're gonna walk through actual doors like you would down here. It's a library, but it's a spiritual. It's made of pure spirit energy, pure plasma energy. So that means it has no physical body, but you can see everything though. And it's just like walking into a regular library. You walk in the library and what you see, all these rows with books, and you can go study different things. If you want to read about love, you can go to that section with the romance novels. If you want to know about certain information, you go to different sections of the library. That's how the Akashic Records is set up. But it's an interdimensional plane. So that means that it exists between two other planes. So each planet has the Akashic Records located in a different place. But right now in the physical, you can only access the Akashic Records two ways. The first way is by going within yourself. As 9 ether beings having neuromelanin and carbon and a spirit and a soul, along with over 144 chakras, 7 of which you can access on a physical level. We being the creator of the creators, the original designers of the cosmos, we have the key. That's DEA. You need deoxyetheric acid to walk into that library. Because that library doesn't have density. So you can't enter it in a physical state. You can only enter it by accessing the spiritual side of you, which is less denser, which is vibrating higher. Just like when you go to a physical library, you need a card to get in that library. Or to access the Akashic Records, you need to be on the right vibration. Remember, the gas realms are way above the solid realms. We in the solid realm right now. So the vibration of the gas realms is all the way up here. You have to go at least to that gas state to enter the Akashic Records. And to go into that gas state and be fully conscious, you must have a soul. Just like for the body to walk in the physical, it needs what? A heartbeat and a brain. Right? Well, for a spirit to be fully aware of what it's doing on the astral planes, the quantum realms, which is the spiritual realms where things are less dense. There's no density. It's just spirit. There's no matter. There's no matter. This is matter. There's no matter in the physical, in the spiritual realms. So in order to vibrate at that frequency, you need DEA to control that spirit. So you need DEA so that you can be able to walk inside this library. That's your library card. This is the library. And look, when you walk inside the Akashic Records, there's always somebody there. You gonna see somebody there you know. These are the goddesses of legend, the gods of legend. You're gonna see a bunch of ascended masters when you go inside the Akashic Records, when you go inside that library. Because you have light beings that come from all over to go to the Akashic Records because they are studying about the evolution of other species on other planets. Everybody have different jobs to do, so they go to the Akashic Records. And each planet has a doorway to access the Akashic Records too. But the main entry is to go within. That's where meditation comes in at. So that those doors can be open to you, but those doors are within you. The doors to the Akashic Records are within you. That's one way to enter. The only other way to enter, because there's only 3 ways, actually 3 ways to enter the Akashic Records. The first way is back home on Xylanthia, headquarters. The main chamber is there. You could just go through there, but you're not there right now. So if you on this planet, the only way you're gonna enter the Akashic records is two ways: through yourself or going through a portal. Now, it's a route you can take that exists alongside. You have to ride along the ice wall though, and you know the oppressors have that blocked off. But you have to ride along the ice wall, and that leads to a little ice way, and you go through there. You can enter through a portal and access the Akashic records as well. But if you want to know what Akashic records are at on this planet of Kai or Earth, as it is known, it's below us. So the Akashic record sits between us and Asgard. Asgard is below us. We remember, it's 9 realms on this planet called Kai or Earth or Tiamat. We are in the middle. We are Atlantis. We have 4 realms above us, and we have 4 realms below us. They stacked on top of each other one by one. The realms. They float. But we design the realms. If you want to know why the realms are able to float and sit suspended like that, it's because of the vibration that they are on, including this one. It's a quantum energy thing. Because Ashe is everywhere. So it is the Ashe that separates the realms and hold them together. Stop them from collapsing one on top of the other. Each realm has its own sky and everything. Just like this realm, we have our own sky, but we can't see the realm above us. We see clean up to the cosmos. This realm of Atlantis is one of the most powerful all throughout the multiverse. But yeah, this Akashic Records thing, it's a real thing. You can access it through meditation. You can access it through sitting with self. But you have to know what to look for. Because the information that's in the Akashic Records is groundbreaking. Very powerful stuff. And the ancestors are not going to let you access that type of information if you're not right within yourself. This is why you go through so many levels and you go through so many things. Because it's all about getting back to this enlightenment. When you came down here, you descended. So you lowered your frequency just to come here. So once you get here, now you're trying to increase your frequency back up to what you know it's supposed to be while being here. Because we are powerful beings, but we are more powerful outside of the physical realm. When we come down here, because they have the realm of the light code lockdown, we lose a lot of strength, and this is where the battle begins. This is why it's like Mission Earth. Earth was deemed mission impossible. So, because when you come here, you gotta lower your power just to get in here. If you come here, if you vibrate too high, you ain't better get in here. Because they conquered the realm. Those who work light magic against us. The fallen angels, the fallen gods. But this is why they don't speak too much about the Akashic Records. They don't want you to know about that. That's a real library that's inside of you. And being 9 into being, you have a triple helix. You have 9 series of these DEA, these cells. And these cells have hydrogen links, and these links are full of cosmic residue that was left behind by all those that came before you. Not just in the physical state, but in the cosmic state, in the astral state. This is what was inside of your DEA. This is what keeps you connected to the cosmos as a non-ether being. So guess what? They don't want you to access the Akashic Records because then they can't give you school no more. You start going within and opening that door and trusting that door to open for you and to talking to your ancestors and your cosmic protection and spiritual families that live all within you. That's what they don't want. They don't want you sitting with that council. That's a real council inside you. That whole committees inside of you. Like I say, what do you think your cells are? That's why I was breaking down what the cells are in the DEA lecture. Like, your cells have membranes, cytoplasm, nucleus. These are information centers where trillions of entities can gather at a time in one cell. Trillions of different spiritual entities can gather in one cell. That's what you are. So they didn't never want nobody to access the Akashic records. They can't let you know that. Right now, when you want to get on Ancestry.com, because I done did it before, we did it before. You get in there, you want to go back and look a few generations back on the physical ancestors, they'll let you go back a little bit, but they stop. They ain't gonna go too far. They don't even want to go too far with that, because if you go to going back then, your ancestors that was on this physical was a little more tapped in with the inner side of themselves than we are today. Right? Each generation was, or each group of us was, each generation was. And then we started getting more advanced with each generation as we kept coming here. Look at all the babies born in the 1920s and look at those born in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, on back. Each fucking, you see what I'm saying? You see how it keep, because we return in here. We return back to get back what's ours. To take back what's ours. This is the true reason of why you're supposed to sit with yourself and go within yourself and go deep within yourself. This is what that's all about. Because you have the Akashic records in you. You hold the keys in your genetics. Just through going through deep states of meditation, study, practicing that, you knocking on that door. Eventually it will be open to you. But you got to break past the like code lockdown. What's the like code lockdown? Wanting to play the video game, wanting to watch Netflix, got to go to work. You know, all the shit that could throw your focus off from what you was here to do. Even when I'm shooting videos, I'm focused though, because what is my videos about? Yeah, we can make learning fun, but at the end of the day, it's always focused if you're really paying attention. It's lessons and everything. The Akashic records is because you are a divine being, and you set up we set up the Akashic records. We created a library of intelligence. That is in the library itself has its own intelligence to it, the Akashic records. So she is able to download information from every event, down to an individual's thoughts, down to your intention. That's documented. She's like the stenographer of the cosmos. You see what I'm saying? Typing and writing everything down that you do, think, or say. Not just you. The insects, the animals, because life is life in all things. It's life in this right here. It's life in this beautiful flame. You know? It's not just life in us. Your thalamus gland deals with all sorts of creation from you, and that sits in your brain. But what they don't tell you about the thalamus gland is that the thalamus gland is controlled by your cosmic elders. They'll tell you that the neurons are responsible for the brain getting its thoughts. All these neurons fire off, but they won't tell you who making the neurons fire off. Why do the neurons fire off in your brain? Study neuroscience. Why do the neurons fire off in your brain? Who creates that energy, that pulse? That's coming from your cosmic elders, because you are connected to the cosmos. That's why you got a soft spot in your head. That's where the prana, the ashe flows through, connected you directly to the sun. That's what they won't tell you though. They won't tell you when you inhale, you're literally pulling in your entire atmosphere around you. If you used to send certain thoughts out while inhaling, it would manifest even quicker. That's why breathing is such a big part of meditation. Inhale, you pulling in the ashe. You control it now. Exhale. You feel it flow. You feel it when you pull it in, and when you push it out, that's reality. Now, everything you see around you is matter that you've molded with your mind. So it's matter that you've molded with your thoughts. The only thing in front of you is this. You can feel it. Look, pull it in. Inhale. You feel that when you inhale? Now exhale. You feel that? That's sachet. The things you see. So the video game cover, the weed in my hand, myself sitting in front of you, this phone in front of me, these flowers, coat, boxes, refrigerator. All this is matter that I've molded with my thoughts and with my soul contract. And the same thing for you. That's how powerful you are. But when you go inside the Akashic Records, it helps you to see that. You can see who built the pyramids and how they was built. All that's in the Akashic Records. Anything you want to know about this planet, go into the Akashic Records. It's there. This is why you can go to Spirit and say, hey, Spirit, reveal to me about this person. And Spirit will reveal to you about that person. Where do you think Spirit goes to get that information to reveal to you about that person? The Akashic Records. When tarot readers read people's energy, and they go and be like, okay, well, this person giving me bad energy. What do you think that energy is flowing from that's affecting those tarot cards if you got a real tarot card reader? Where did they pulling it from? Some tarot readers, they be on real ones, they be on point. How you know that? They pull that from the Akashic Records of the planet. Because anything that we've all doing or trying to do, it goes to the Akashic Records. Your actions, your thoughts, and your intents, and your words. All that go to the Akashic Records. All that go to that library, and it sits there. So you can't lie. That's why you can't lie to spiritual people about who you are. We can read you. We can go tap into the Akashic Records. And your energy is right there in the Akashic Records. So is mine. We all there. So I'm going to know who you is. You know when you hear that little voice talking to you? We call it intuition. That be you. But where you think you pulling that information from? The Akashic Records. Those vibrations are coming from the Akashic Records. Your soul remember those vibrations, seeing it in the Akashic Records. Subconsciously. So it comes to you as a bad feeling consciously. The Akashic Records. But with that being said, I'll see y'all in class Sunday on YouTube. We back here next week on the website. We got a lot of powerful downloads coming up that will be scheduled. But yeah, I want y'all to play this back. You know what I'm saying? Understand what I'm saying about the Akashic Records. This is the power of us. It's the power in us. You have access to everything. And that applies down to the magic and all that too. Akashic Records. This is why the goal is to keep you outside of yourself, because there's so much gold inside of yourself. It's so much beauty inside of you. So this is why the oppressors go out of way with mainstream media and making us go to they programming centers called school and making us work on their illegal slave plantations called jobs and corporations. They keep you busy, keep you moving, keep you outside of yourself. Because inside of yourself is the most beautiful place of all. It's where all the information at. This is where the real you is at. This is where you can be yourself. This all this is in here. But peace to the guys and guys of the Planet Kai. I will see you all. Probably go on Instagram right now. I might go live. But if not, I will see y'all Sunday on YouTube. Now we rise. One. I'll leave.